Good evening, my dear friend. As the night settles in and the world grows quiet, I find myself transported back to the wind-swept hills of one of the prettiest places in England. The adventure I'm about to share with you has left me with a profound sense of connection to the land, to history, and to my own family's past. You know how some books stay with you long after you've turned the last page? For me, James Herriot's All Creatures Great and Small was one such treasure. I first read it in my teens, and those stories of the Yorkshire Dales captured my imagination, painting vivid pictures of rolling hills, dry stone walls, and a landscape steeped in history. Well, this week I finally decided to see it for myself. I set out early yesterday morning, knowing it would be about an hour-and-a-half drive to the heart of the Dales. As I wound my way through the narrow country roads, the landscape gradually transformed into a wild, wind-swept panorama of heather-clad moors and limestone escarpments. The sun was just coming up when I finally parked my car at a small lot near a trailhead that I heard was a great spot to take in the local beauty. Stepping out of the car, I took a deep breath of the crisp morning air. The Dales stretched before me, a patchwork of greens and greys under an endless sky. Dry stone walls crisscrossed the landscape, testament to centuries of human presence in this rugged terrain. As I set off on the trail, I couldn't help but think of the countless feet that had trodden these paths before me. Farmers, travellers, and perhaps even characters from Herriot's tales. It was just over a kilometre or so when I stumbled upon the cave. I'd veered off the main path, following a narrow track that seemed to whisper of secrets. The cave entrance was half hidden behind a curtain of ivy, easy to miss if you weren't paying attention. Something about it called to me, an inexplicable pull that I couldn't resist. I stood at the cave entrance, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension washing over me. The rational part of my mind cautioned against entering an unknown cave alone, especially without proper equipment. I hesitated, then decided to return to my car for the torch I knew was in the glove compartment. Another habit my father had instilled in me for any outdoor excursion. The trip back to the car and return to the cave took about 30 minutes, giving me time to consider whether I should really explore this unknown cavern. Yet that same inexplicable pull remained, drawing me back. With the torch now in hand, I shone its beam into the darkness, revealing just enough to tempt me further. Taking a deep breath, I stepped inside, the cool air enveloping me like a whisper from the past. As I stepped into the damp darkness, I felt as though I'd crossed a threshold into another world. The temperature dropped noticeably, and the sounds of the outside world faded away. I switched on my torch, its beam cutting through the gloom to reveal rough stone walls glistening with moisture. That's when I heard it. Something like a strange echo. But it wasn't the echo of my footsteps or my breathing. It was a voice, faint and distorted, but undeniably human. I froze, listening intently. The voice came again, louder this time, seeming to bounce off the cave walls from all directions. Must be quiet now, children. It's not safe yet. The words sent a shiver down my spine. They sounded like they were from another time, filled with a tension I couldn't quite place. As I ventured deeper into the cave, more voices joined the first, overlapping and intertwining in a ghostly chorus. I want my mum. When can we go home? Hush now, it'll be over soon. With a jolt, I realised what I was hearing. These were the voices of evacuees, children sent away from the cities during World War II to escape the bombs. The Yorkshire Dales had been a safe haven for many such children, including, I suddenly remembered, my own great-aunt Lily. I'd heard whispers of Aunt Lily's time as an evacuee, but they had always been vague, more like half-forgotten legends than real events. But here, in this cave, history came alive in a way I'd never experienced before. As I moved further into the cave, the voices became clearer, more distinct. I heard laughter, tears, whispered confidences, and songs sung to pass the time. Each echo painted a vivid picture of life during those uncertain days. Then, a particular voice caught my attention. It was younger, more vulnerable, yet with a familiar lilt that made my heart skip a beat. Dear Mum and Dad, I hope you're safe. The Dales are beautiful, but I miss you terribly. Mrs. Thwaites is kind, but she's not you. Please write soon. All my love, Lily. Aunt Lily. I was hearing her voice as a child, writing a letter she might never have sent. Tears pricked my eyes as I listened, feeling a connection to this young girl who would one day become the strong, resilient woman I knew. But it was the next echo that truly shook me to my core. I'm so sorry, Lily dear. The telegram, your parents. Her voice trailed off. The cave fell silent for a moment, then filled with the heart-wrenching sobs of a child whose world had just shattered. I found myself weeping too, sharing in a grief that had occurred decades before I was born. As I stood there, overwhelmed by emotion, a final echo reached my ears. It was Aunt Lily's voice again, but older now, tempered by time and experience. We endure, we survive, we live. That's the greatest tribute we can pay to those we've lost. Those words, filled with quiet strength and wisdom, seemed to linger in the air long after the other echoes had faded. I realized then that I was hearing not just the past, but the resilience that had carried my family through generations. Slowly, reverently, I made my way back to the cave entrance. As I emerged into the late afternoon sunlight, I felt changed. The landscape before me was the same, yet somehow richer, more alive with the stories it held. I sat on a nearby rock, letting the gentle breeze dry my tears as I looked out over the dales. I thought of Aunt Lily, of the life she had built after the war, of the love she had given so freely to our family. I understood now, in a way I never had before, the depth of her strength and the weight of her experiences. As the day began to wane, the sky transformed into a canvas that Aunt Lily might have seen all those years ago. Soft pinks and golds, intermingling, like memories of both joy and sorrow. A testament to the beauty that persists even in the darkest times. I felt a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for this unexpected journey into the past, for the echoes that had brought my family's history to life, and for the unbreakable threads that connect us across time. Now, as I sit here in the quiet of my room, the memory of those echoes still ringing in my ears, I feel a renewed appreciation for the stories that shape us. It's moments like these that make me grateful for friends like you, with whom I can share these extraordinary experiences. I plan to call my grandmother tomorrow to ask her more about Aunt Lily and those war years. There's so much of our family's story I've yet to uncover, so many echoes still to hear. Until then, I'll hold on to the magic of this day, a reminder that the past is never truly gone, but lives on in the land, in our memories, and in the love we carry forward, Sweet dreams, my friend. May your own dreams be filled with echoes of joy and resilience, and may you always find wonder in the stories that surround us. Good night.